Hello and welcome back to Disco Elysium. We are on the island and, well, time to explore. The rusted chain trails off into the ocean. The chain trails off into the ocean, connecting the island to the supply depot on the coast. This leads to the depot on Land's End. Lieutenant looks at the mechanism overhead. Ah yes, so it seems. What do you think it was used for? For bringing munitions to the island maybe, and supplies? You could also lock the bay when you raise the chain. As a defensive measure, locking off that side of the bay. Lock it from whom? From enemies. He looks up ahead. Enemies of the commune of Revachol. The Seaforth was a revolutionary fortification, I believe. Alright, well, we'll finish that thought then. A makeshift bridge. The bombs were powerful enough to break the foundation. Okay. Go for a little walk up here. Wait, can we not run? Oh, we can run. Cool. Some fuel is leaked out of the barrel. Black, viscous. Attention! Inflammable. Okay. Over here. Oh! The dry grass crackles under your feet as you stop. Faraway birds' wings touch the still surface of the sea. What is that flutter? The flock of quail departs. Now, more than 100 meters away, 102, 105 underneath the flutter. On the islet, there is almost no wind, just the light movement of air through the reeds. Bulrushes swaying on the waterline, long dried leaves chafing against each other. Like a silent orchestra tuning at the beginning of some major work. To the west, a silent hiss, sea air moving through the needles of a pine tree. To the east, the faraway roar of the city, distant like today's dream. Before it, the sound of sand, the low tide filtered through its grains, a bird tending to its feathers. Ahead, a low hum. The air slowly moves through a concrete box, though through its ancient slits and cracks, resonating hollow, a big building. Beyond that, further north, air flows out of a pillbox window. There is very little there. The air cossets flowers on a meadow. Absolute silence. Reeds motionless. Bulrushes motionless. Below the silence, Kol Duma Magdakwa. Kim. Yes. Momentarily the sounds are swept away. Pain shoots up your right foot and into your groin. Have you noticed how quiet it is? I have. Is that why we're stopping? Wait, I have to listen to one more thing. Lieutenant nods in silence. Nope, I'm done. So it's really, really quiet on the island. We maybe could have got more if we weren't in pain. The barrel says ICM. You see a star of little specks on it. ICM. This feels familiar somehow. Kim, what's the ICM? The Insulindian Citizens Militia. It's the official name of the Communards Army, the black and white army of the Revolution. Sounds an awful lot like... Sounds like RCM, the Revachol Citizens Militia. It does. Why? The RCM may descend from the ICM. May? It's impossible to say. He looks towards the darkened doorway. It was chaos after the war. The name was good for getting people to join us. Revachol West was mostly workers and criminals. Nice. Political thoughts rush through your neocortex. It's gonna be hard to say them. Carrying around all that weight on a busted crutch is making you pant. It's a little embarrassing in 52, no? Maybe we need a rebrand? No one remembers the ICM. The connotation is less important each year. He bows to inspect the barrel. A white star? Pointing to the star on the label. No, he looks at it. An upside down star. With horns in the sky, the symbol of the commune. Are those speck stars too? No, that's the uninhabited archipelago. A DeLorean era symbol of Insulindi, known as the face in the sea. Looks old. What's it still doing here? After, he thinks, 44 years, that's not nearly enough time to hide what happened here, officer. One of these barrels was still leaking fuel, as you saw. The city is full of things like this. Old bullets, guns, fuel. Okay. We're getting lots of thoughts on this island. Oh. Warm blood trickles down your armpit. The ligature is off. It's nothing. No way to get up there. The stairs are gone. Little birch from the coin-operated viewer. Still holding on. We can't head over there, so I guess we gotta head in then, right? Or up here? Can't get up there, so it's in here then. Okay. I'm imagining that if we came here earlier, there would be somebody here. But I'm imagining there's not going to be somebody here on this one. We're only going to get evidence that somebody was here. This was once an armament rest. Twin cannons were attached here. Medium distance, large caliber. Oh wow, oh, okay, no, my perspective changed there. I thought that was on the ground, but no, this is actually a whole area. Oh wow, Kim's showing me exactly how you walk around. Careful, these stairs have collapsed. Oh, good to know. Yeah, someone was definitely living here. Books, mostly fantastique and historical fiction. Dishes stained with sauce and fire, a survivor's kitchen. Flan Aurora shirt, hand-eye coordination on the shirt. Okay. I think this is obviously where the third man that we never met was, as in the third shooter in the square. That's what I'm going for anyway. Microgrid Generator. An old cylindrical generator is nested above the ammo lift with makeshift electrical wiring running out of its side and across the floor. The cables disappear into the wall to your right. Lieutenant puts his hand on the metal barrel, checking for warmth. It's cold now, he concludes, but someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired. Where do these wires lead? He looks at the wall socket. Downstairs somewhere. What kind of generator is this? Liquid carbon. I would imagine it takes mazout. He points to the open fuel cap on the side of the dynamo. The kind that's favoured by vagrants and fuel thieves. It's been a long winter, long and cold. If anyone stayed here, they need a generator. I'm going to tap the side. A hollow ring, the canister is empty. Dust falls from the generator and down into the ammo lift. What does this mean, a generator here? I don't know, I'm not a philosopher. I meant, why is it here? Someone with basic electrical skills has restored it in order to keep the room warm. Maybe it's the fire guy. The wind outside picks up suddenly with a faint howl. Inside, it's warm. Okay. The bed. Spring mattress. There's a greasy old spring mattress in the corner, resting on piles of softcover books. White linen and a pillow are visible under a worn-out caracul blanket. Someone has been squatting here. The lieutenant inspects the bed. The linen is fresh, recently washed. Do you think whoever slept here is... A flash of pain interrupts you, making you wince instead of letting the words out. You know, officer. He looks at you with a touch of concern. You can rest here if you're feeling tired. I will keep watch. You could use some rest for what's ahead. No time to rest now. Yes, anytime. If you need to rest later, it's okay by me. You don't have to be a hero. Okay. You can see candles planted on a broken rangefinder. A moth-bitten sheet keeps the wind out. Books and magazines lie scattered on the floor and on a makeshift cupboard. They are not particularly well organised. Let's sift through them. Most are soft covers, serialised fantastique and detective stories from the 20s and 30s. This disparate digest includes the classic animal adventures. Popular depictions of man versus nature by amateur naturalists T and T Harpin, husband and wife, widely read by people from all walks of life. Who doesn't like nature? Who doesn't want to survive? Among what is mostly commercial fiction and serialized stories, you find a magazine cathodique for electric engineering. Then it's back to pulp, light erotica, and international thriller about circuit benders. Someone's made themselves a home. Lieutenant inspects a softcover. Anything stand out as unusual? Actually, let's just leave a second and put on our conceptualization clothes. Not that one then. Conceptualization clothes. Like the white shirt. That might be it in terms of our conceptualization clothes, but we'll see. Oh no, we got the white jacket. That's going to give us like a 42% chance. Not bad. Try it. Not that you can tell. This is a digest of someone who's dead bored. Most of it is for entertainment purposes, fittingly right next to the radiola on the floor. Nothing out of the ordinary? Maybe it was a little old-fashioned. There's a nude mag. More than that, you can't say. The print in some of these is pretty small though. The person had good eyesight. But we have so many level ups. I mean, well, we have 2. I might as well take a conceptualization, right? And then accept changes and close. Try it again. Oh yes, under the bed there is a rather extensive collection of critical theory that is dour life, non-affirming left-wing literature published by small imprints such as Abattoir Firm and Usia. It's not exactly light reading. Look Kim, powerful communist theory, rigorous and truthful. Actually, you know what? Look Kim, a book, left-wing, I have no comments, do you? Usia, he enunciates the word diligently. Humanitarian sciences stands out. Not a lot of critical theory around in Revachol West anymore. Your incendiary remark has failed to provoke him. Wasn't there some in the communist student's room? A student in the apartment building seems to have kept some as well. Well, yes, that one student did. The little books seem inconsequential next to the big pile of frivolous entertainment covering them. Critical theory books, what do you think this means? Again, I am not a philosopher, but whoever has lived here, they have some education and a certain set of interests. Interesting. Okay. Well, that told us about nothing. By about, I mean nothing. I'm going to wear the hand-eye coordination shirt because it's snazzy. Right. Head down here. What we got in this one? We have magnesium. Cool. We then have more magnesium. Again. Cool. This great blast door must weigh over 10 tons. Rust peels off it. Okay. Explore the room we're in anyway first. This hatch is jammed shut. Water rushes below, far down below. Green paint flakes off the monoblock aluminium cabinet. There are rows of switches on the front panel, a frequency band and even a keyboard. Let's run my fingers across the keyboard. The keys rattle like teeth. The keyboard hasn't been functional in decades. What is this then? The console of an anti-computation device. Lieutenant points to the wires running into the machine. The generator upstairs with wires coming out. They terminate here. What does this console do? He inspects the dials. Urgence, overt, lumiere, radio diffuse. Sounds like this device was used to control the electronics here. Maybe it still does. This device is used to control the electronics in the room. It could open doors, control lights, function as a radio computer. Turn emergency open. Nothing happens. We need to restore power before using this, officer. The generator. He looks upstairs. It didn't look like there was fuel in it. He looks into the dim light to his right. We should look around outside. There are barrels all over. Maybe one of them still has something in it. The boat engine. Or you could get some from the boat engine. But officer, he looks you in the eye. Then we would have to swim back to the mainland. Let's just look around, okay? Okay. I'm going to push all of them. I slid radio dial. The dial slides under the glass silently. You make out defunct stations on the UKV frequency. The words Feld Insular are written on the band. Insular. The lieutenant leans in to inspect the cursive writing. This is an off-air radio computer, I believe, used for military communications. It's an air-gapped system, an off-air military model. Its circuits are nearly impossible to bend, i.e. it cannot be remote controlled. Okay, let's leave. So we have this door over here, which I'm assuming we can't go through, because it's locked. You see a small metal door nested inside a larger one. A heavy steel blast door. There is a conventional keyhole above the handle. It's very small. What's on the other side? Another part of the island, probably. Lieutenant looks into the keyhole. The lock looks like it could still be usable. How do we open this? He looks at the door, then at its bigger brother, then at the lock. Maybe this is one of the doors we don't open. He's right. It would be better to open its big brother. A powerful engine hangs under the ceiling. It must control the blast door. You're right. We opened the big one. Do you see controls anywhere? Yeah, on that console southeast of here. Remember. He points to it, then shuffles his feet to stay warm. Let's look around. Getting the blast door open seems like the best plan. Okay. Well, we'll run back this way. And then through here? Okay. Still not entirely sure what we're going to find here, but in theory, what I'm assuming is we find that this is where the shooter was. Right? A firing slit. You can't see inside. It must have taken a direct hit to take out such a huge chunk. The distant sound of cargo ships. Signal horns echo on the water. Okay. Gonna head out. Why not? The ice cracks under your feet. Be careful not to fall through. Okay. Back in again. Oh. The pain in your pelvis makes you wince, then you continue. The inside of the fortress. You can make out the console and the blast door. Just checking where this goes. No way to jump down here without breaking a few bones. Okay, fine. In here we go. Fuel. Yeah, cool. A fuel canister anyway. A weathered artillery map showing coordinates in the Bay of Revachol. There's a rain-soaked mattress on a concrete slab, only half covered by the crumbling roof. At the head of it, double embrasures, firing slits, like two eyes in the wall. This looks like a good place to aim from. The lieutenant looks around. He steps closer with his hand on his gun. Let's inspect the mattress. A single-person mattress, modern, civilian use. Brand name, Majorie. There's a fuel stain on the cover along with cigarette burns. And an empty can of beans in the ground next to it, filled to the brim with cigarette butts. Let's pick one out of the can. The silhouette of a tobacco picker adorns the paper filter. The brand? To Martinez. Contemporary Revacholians prefer Durin, a local blend from the southern islands, or Astra, the legendary cigarette from Grad. To Martinez is favoured by older men for its paper filter tips, sweet smells, and added tar. I saw this same brand of cigarettes extinguished in Land's End, pointing west. Could there be a coincidence, or the same person has visited Land's End and he looks around here. I didn't see any signs of smoking inside though. If people live there, they keep it tidy. This here may also be a smoking spot. Let's inspect the wall. There's a firing slit in the wall in front of you, like a little window. Let's touch the concrete first. Quite old and grimy from years without cleaning anything other than the rain. Cleaning by anything other than the rain. Look through the hole in the concrete. The spring screeches as you lean on the mattress and crane your neck to look out. Trepidation, a tingling feeling in your stomach. A small piece of the Martinez coastline opens up in a square in front of you, like a tiny landscape painting, 1 kilometer across the water. The ruins look familiar. On the left, a towering skyscraper, its top floor is shaved off by artillery fire. Capeside apartments, Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A and 33B. On the right, the red chimney and collapsed back of the 4-story tenement in front of the Whirling in Rags, Rue de Saint-Ghislain 10, the doomed commercial area, and between the two, the box-shaped silhouette of the Whirling in Rags, its sloped roof. A tiny fleck of light catches your eye on the rooftop, sunlight reflecting off the upstairs window of Clachet's room. Motherfucker. What does it mean? Do you have line of sight to the window? More than that. Kim, with a pair of binoculars, I'll be able to see inside the room. A pair of binoculars or the scope of a rifle. He points to the makeshift bed. You'd be prone, lying on the mattress, barrel resting on the embrasure. Cheek against cheek rest, hand on the hair trigger, on a calm day like this. Kim, I could make it. I could make the shot. Good. He pats you on the back, 3 small pats in a row. I think we have it, detective. The origin of the shot. This is the sniper's nest. Affirmative. Finally. In our defense, nothing pointed here. Many, many leads pointed elsewhere. 6 people are dead. Don't beat yourself up, officer. We did not put guns in their hands or get them drunk. Lieutenant pauses. Regret comes over him. He looks north over the fortification, then adds, we will make up for it. Here, I feel it. Could the shooter still be here? Where? He looks behind his back. On this island. He does not answer, just nods. With his back hunched, he looks around once more and says, we should move now. Okay. An old medicine cabinet newly stocked with druamine. Well, I mean, while we're here, you know, might as well. Oh, just heal a little health up there. We got the fuel. Oh, what's that? You feel eyes on the back, on your back. Someone's watching, but you can't say where. No, the guy can't be here, because I'm sure that the killer is the 3rd person we never met, because he's a sniper. That's what he does. And he's dead. What's this then? Oh, that's what I'm looking for. Oh, magnesium and money. Well, why not? You know. So, up here, we now have fuel. In theory. Oh, wait, whoa. We have this as well. We have the Army Surplus Winter Scarf. Gives us empathy. Okay. Cool. Here. Pour fuel into the tank. The lieutenant assists you, holding the canister up to the fuel tank as you tilt. Dark brown viscous fluid pours out and the room fills with a chemical smell. There's a red starter switch on the side of the cylinder and a start rope on the other side. The lieutenant flicks the switch. Pull the rope. The recoil start wakes the old generator up. The machine sputters like an old warhorse before settling down to a rattle. That should do it. Okay. Well, we know where to go now. We go down here. We go through here. We start pressing buttons. It's on. He smiles. Turn emergency open. Could this open the blast door? I think yes. Let's see. He points to the emergency dial switch. That one, the emergency open. I'm going to push light interior. The lighting in the room turns on with a sizzle, a dim ambient orange. Let's slide radio dial. An idea lights up in your head. Maybe we could contact Suna, the programmer lady. She could open the door for us remotely. Lieutenant inspects the indicator. This is an air-gapped system. Off-air, I think they call it. That won't work. Are you sure? No, I'm not. But it would not be a very good military technology if programmer ladies could control it remotely. Also, it's ancient, incompatible. Alright, let's open. The blast door opens with a series of clicks. A shaft of light appears, then widens as the light shines in. Oh wow. That is a mega door. Oh wow, it keeps going. Okay, I like it. After you, the lieutenant gestures at the opening. Before, outside, when we were walking across the sand, I felt someone watching me. So did I. Not back there, but I felt it since we came here. What if we get into another fight? Don't worry. He takes out his sidearm, checks the barrel, and holsters it again. I have a gun. I don't have a gun. Extra good that I do. What's there? I don't know. Let's go. Straight through. I don't think there's somebody here, but maybe there is. Outside. You know what? This seems like a save opportunity. Like a proper save. Let's go. Yeah. It's fairly major. Maybe. Nothing along that way. Like, we can't click along there. Up here. A rubber dinghy is deflated, broken. Can't go along this way too far. Can go along a little bit, though. Yeah, can't really go that far along there. Okay. And then we have... Wow. We have the fireman. Hello. An old man wearing tracksuit trousers leans on the frame stock of his rifle. He gathers a big ball of spit in his mouth. Then spits it out into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours. Unclouded by cataracts, his eyesight is sharp. He's practically tearing up from spite. Hatred got the best of him long time ago. This man hates everything. Are you the fire guy?
The what now? I can't hear you.
Did you recently tell 2 kids to put out their fire? 2 twins.
I may have. All sorts of little rats have come sniffing around trying to give up the position.
The position sounds like a hiding place.
Fire guy, regressive bourgeoisie henchman, can't even talk like a grown-up.
You've retrained your eyesight.
My eyesight, yes, helps me see all this shit.
Did you close the blast door?
I did. And you opened it. How?
I fueled the generator, then used the console.
I should have burned that console down.
He shakes his head. How did you know I was coming?
Reactionary rock and roll music, playing on the water.
Oh, yeah.
Told you we shouldn't play sad FM.
It was not reactionary, it was cool.
The fascists were right about rock and roll. It is degenerate, hip, gyrating mental illness music.
Nice gun you got there.
It's not nice, it's a piece of shit. Gets the job done.
Is that a Bell Margrave? Margrave?
It's a Dragon 446.
Southeast Samaran made. Exotic. Must be defunct too. No modern rifle manufacturer of that name springs to mind.
A Samaran rifle? How did you get hold of one?
It was sent to us by our brothers in the Xinyao commune. Military aid.
He pats the rifle. It has stayed true to him. he can still make it sing. The Xinjiao commune?
You heard me. It's good now, like chalk wiped from a board.
His gaze turns inward. I'm with the police. You can keep the gun, but keep it down. Not one move.
No.
Oh, the lieutenant aims his pistol square at the man's head and says,
Put it down now, sir.
Or you're going to blow my brains out before you question me. To hell with it. It's a walking stick anyway. It's out of bullets.
The old man lays the rifle down carelessly, then looks at it lying there. I'm going to pick it up. His gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand. Frames stocked and patched in places with tape and wire. Let's inspect it closer. The rifle's in a shabby state. Like a crutch that's seen too much travel, hieroglyphs are embossed into the forearm made of walnut. On the butt you see Vespertine writing, burnt into the wood. Triangong. Bore, 46mm, made in Xinjiao. It's as he said, it's a Triangong made in Xinjiao. Worn, personalized even. Looks like this weapon has seen a lot of use, hasn't it, sir? No response from the old man. The plastic cape around his shoulders rustles in a small bout of wind. This uses jacketed ammunition, 4.46. Jacketed, military-grade ammunition. Stable in flight, good for hitting something that's very, very far away, he says, mostly to the old man. As he speaks, he stresses every word. He's liking this. Let's stow the gun. The old man keeps following your motions with his gaze. His left arm twitches suddenly. Some kind of involuntary response. Something is slightly off with his motorics. This looked very much like the murder weapon. It can be used against him to get a confession in time. Who are you? My name. He looks across the water and then back at you. Is Yosef Lilianovich Dross, political commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of the Commune of Revachol. I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my termless surrender. His eyes turn to the reeds again, dead and dull. The Commune of Revachol? Lieutenant forgets to close his mouth. Do you mean the ICM? Your holdover from the Insulindian Citizens Militia, the Army of the Revolution. I was recruited in Jamrock in 07, trained in the École de Contrôle Ariane, and consigned to emergency defense duties in 08. I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May the 14th, the commune had fallen. Still armed and ideologically trained, I wrote a criticism of myself and resumed partisan duties. 51 minus 8, 43. You've been on this island for 43 years? No. He looks into the fire. A wisp of smoke rises from somewhere between the charred logs. I've been on other islands too. I was on Resurrection until they turned it into a spa in 18. Then I was on E48 and Nameless Sound until the sea washed over it. Then I came back here. That was, he thinks, 22 years ago. Again, you've been hiding here for 43 years? 43 years and 11 months. I don't even know what that is. It's inhuman, it's sick. It's not how a human being should live, but I had to. He grimaces, clearly in pain. I couldn't just forget what I saw. What have you been doing during all this time? Hiding, fishing, waiting. He looks across the water. Two police officers step out of the Whirling in Rags cafeteria. Satellite officer Jean Vicquemar inspects a series of burnt black letters splashed across the plaza mosaic. Patrol officer Judith Minhua points west. The fishing village, she glances at her watch. We meet in 15 minutes, it's a 10-minute walk. The officers go, leaving behind the writing still smouldering. One day, it says, I will return to your side. Oh, there you go. Our rough translation wasn't too far off. Always waiting. The old man turns his eyes from the shore and back to you. For what? For her to return. Her? Who? Dolores Day? Girl child revolution. Girl child revolution? Always. I dare not dream anymore. Good. He blinks his black eyes. The material base for an uprising has eroded. The working classes betrayed mankind and themselves. The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore. However hard I try, whatever I do. What has he done? Perhaps a confession will lighten the load. What have you done then? Yes, what? To get things going again. Lieutenant steps closer. Fan the flames. There is no flame to fan. He stares right through him, blinking his dark eyes. There is nothing left of the world of our dreams. You said you deserted your unit. I was just 16 years old, 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith. And of courage too. Lapse of faith? You could say I misunderstood the historic role of the proletariat and thought Mazovian socio-economics were fallible. For a second I doubted the irreducible laws of historic materialism. A second is all it took. For what? For reaction to take hold. What's reaction? Pretty bourgeois terror. It's in all men. It wasn't reaction, you were just afraid. It's the same thing, you haven't seen it. Not really, not naked. It's impossible not to be afraid. And this was when? Lieutenant instinctively looks to his notebook, but does not take it out. May the 13th, 08, 44 years ago. He looks north. The horizon was black with coalition airships. Their petroleum rose to the sky and it looked like it formed the clouds, storm clouds. When they started shelling, it was dark magic. Dark magic? The combined might of international capital all at once, all the greed and terror in the world, torrent of revolution, it lifting streets from the ground and turned houses into ghosts. We were in the flak tower. He gestures towards it. Huddled on the floor, the artillery was 80 kilometers away in Ozone, but I knew the commune would fall. We would all be turned into ash. So I said I was going to the map room. He looks east. What then? I ran. I climbed the chain link across the water and hid in land, in the bunkers on the ground, like the weakest of the weak, a mouse frightened of the ordnance all night and the sound of the rotors in the morning. Whirring, thee. He looks to the sky. What was that? Airships. I climbed out. He closes his eyes. Into hell. The landing was complete. The chain was submerged. I had to swim back. The fortress was half submerged too. Shattered. They'd all drowned in the lower levels or got torn to shreds above. The anti-aircraft gun had malfunctioned. So had I. I left them without ideological direction. He opens his eyes and stares right through you. It was real. I'd seen it. I'd seen it in reality. Seen what? The mask of humanity fall from capital. It has to take it off to kill everyone, everything you love, all the hope and tenderness in the world. It has to take it off just for 1 second to do the deed. And then you see it as it strangles and beats your friends to death, the sweetest, most courageous people in the world. He's silent for a moment. You see the fear and power in its eyes. Then you know. What? That the Bakwazi are not human. Well, I'm gonna let him finish. I had to fight it. I had to never stop. The man falls silent. His black eyes keep piercing your skin as he looks to some great distance between you, shaking his head slowly, retreating from it. What is this place, this island? It's not an island, Thorat. He looks around. It's the defensive fortification of the commune of Revachol, and I'm its last surviving defender. What was it used for? The congeniality deformed King Philippe II built it to restrict access to the Bay of Revachol. We captured it in '02, retrofitted the fort with an AA gun to defend it against airborne landing against the whole world. You mean the landing, the retaking of Revachol? Coalition militia called it Operation Death Blow. He winces. I later found out on the radio they called it Death Blow. You're one of them. Tell me, who speaks like that? We've had 50 million people on Kalu alone. Murderers, I know what you mean. You don't know. You haven't seen it. He shakes his head slowly. Iblis. Iblis? The black-eyed angel. He nods. How have you survived all this time? How does anyone survive? He looks at his worn running shoes. I steal. Now hold on there. What do you steal? Supplies, vegetables. He winces. I collect rainwater. It's the life of a dog, not a human being. He coughs once more, then puts his hand on his belly. How is your health, Mr. Ross? I've been throwing up blood since winter, red like beetroot. Been passing it in stool, too. He does seem frail, gaunt for his age, more like 75 than 65. Trouble putting on weight could mean cancer. The RCM can provide medical services. You need to be looked over. I need to die. A droll smile stretches across his mouth. You don't have medical facilities, you have guns. That's all they give you, toy guns. We have Druamine and other opioid-based painkillers. You must be in pain. A light goes on in his eyes. He smacks his dry lips. I have been running out of that stuff. How have you coped mentally? I haven't. I have holes in my brain, years missing, others filled with pain only. A decade of. His eyes roll into his skull and back. I don't know what. Inferno? Lieutenant's about to say something. I would imagine it gets tremendously difficult, mentally, to live in isolation. Traitors, it's better alone. He nods towards Martinez. I watched the people of this city turn the lights back on, more and more each year. Ruins glimmering in the dark like a fucking merry-go-round. It's disgusting. He looks down at his shoes, his face parched from the sun and the wind. There's a wince of pain in there somewhere. Are they not heartbroken? How could they have moved on? Have you concealed yourself all these years? It was hard and it ends. He shakes his head. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those bloodhounds. He closes his eyes. Blood lights on the water at night. There were posters, campaigns. We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated, Martinez and Coal City were turned to dust. You look south, but Jamrock, Falberg, even Coron and Boogie Street, of course. Those fucking Kips had Mazov coursing through their veins. And others too. Some cordons of Revachol were still fighting. There were sellers. I tried to contact them. He shakes his head. Soon they all went silent, the frequencies dead. How did you get between here and the mainland? At night I used a dinghy. He nods towards the deflated tire in the reeds. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols, you lot. The commons too, they've started snitching. In the city, you'll move underground? From bunker to bunker. He nods. Not anymore, no one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted, He falls silent, his gaze fixed on the shacks huddled together across the water. The weapons cache under St. Ghislaine at 22B. In the basement, have you been there? He looks at you, then pulls the raincoat tighter around his neck. So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Bell McGraves, right? They were. Useless now, rusted away. So you've been there. Sleeping, he coughs. Some nights, ammo scrounging on others. Those McGraves were shit even before they corroded. They had some bullets in the chamber, however. You feel the dots connecting, little dots on the map he's walked across. There's a small bunker under the Feld building. Have you stayed there? The propaganda bunker, he coughs. I used to, but not anymore. Propaganda bunker. They stored leaflets there, broadcasting equipment too. Made broadcasts, I think, propaganda officers. I buried them with their leaflets. They killed themselves, 2 young boys. Killed themselves? A lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. He stares at the ruins of the Feld building. No need to go underground anymore. It's better in the ruins on the ground. Why don't you just walk there? I don't want to. They're all traitors, pigs, rabbits and dogs. Men without ideals are only animals. He does not want to see life moving on, people forgetting, drinking, laughing. One more question. Do you smoke? Teo Mutari cigarettes? I do, he coughs. Ever smoked them on the mainland? They're good, he nods. Plenty of tar. I like that boy in the pack too. Reminds me of the last century. Tell me another thing. The old man looks across the water at the city, the ruins, the motorways rising above. So you're a communist soldier from the communist army? I pressed the wrong button. You said this is your termless surrender? You're with the RCM. He waves in your general direction. The coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeoisie morals in Revachol. We enforce the law. We keep these animals from killing each other. He stares at the embers, then into your eyes. You're the RCM. You represent the Moralist International, the enemies of humanity who took this city. I represent their adversary, Le Partida Comunista de Insolente. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I've relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldozed them all into a mass grave for trying to free humanity. He shakes and breaks into a coughing fit. A spray of blood from his mouth on the black charcoal in the fire pit. René, the royalist on the coast, said, You never signed the Revacholian Instrument of Surrender. Liberal reactionaries signed that instrument. Traitors! You should have been burned alive. He draws his breath. I answer to the Communist Party. Is that part of why you've been here all this time? Because the party didn't surrender? He just wipes the blood from his chin. Understood. I don't think like you did. He stares at the fire pit. You live in a delusion. Radio shows, speed racing, sporting goods. It's not real. So you're a communist soldier from the communist army? No, I am not a soldier. I am an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not the army. You said you were trained and assigned to the Defense Corps. Trained, he nods, in historical materialism, then assigned as a political commissar by the party. These things used to mean something. That means you're a trained communist, right? He nods slowly, then another tremor. I'm going to say nothing. He looks away to the sea and lets out a cough. I have another serious question for you. Oh, there is nothing serious in this world. He looks at the gun in your hand. It's a farce. I just want to see what this is. We can assess his body language. Gives us composure. That's all for now. Actually, you know what? What have you been using this gun for? I'm going to say, that's all for now, old man. Stay put. I ain't going anywhere. Oh, first of all. It's clear you like the hard stuff, brother. No, I'm not interested. No. When the blood and the flesh call, there is no discarding them. Speak true. Do you like the hard stuff? What is the hard stuff? Fascism, brother. What is fascism, though? Many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut tell you is the source of Revachol's problems? I thought you were my circulatory system. Quit stalling, brother. We're talking about the weakest, most insane thing, the weak link. Liberals? Yes, them, but also women. Women? Women. Men of woo. You don't like them, they're insane. Their idiocy needs to be scrubbed off this world with rubbing alcohol. Women need to go back to the fucking kitchen. That's what fascism boils down to. The rest is also important, but the main thing is women need to know their place. I'm having some kind of stomach seizure? Stomach truth. You're having stomach truth. Why am I getting this? Because you've said the hard things others won't say. The good things. You've said them many times. Fascism sounds so bad, though. What if we called it something else, though? Like, traditionalism? Okay, yes, let's call it that. Good thinking. That sounds much better. Traditionalism. You like the sound of that. Okay, stomach, I've made up my mind about fascism. Receipt to the judgment. You're going to keep your vows, right? Keep your vows, brother. Absolutely not. I'm not going to be played by an upset stomach. There's a slow, painful growl somewhere in your intestines, knocking on your alcohol-engorged liver. It's one of betrayal and disappointment. Right, I'm putting on my composure clothes. Do I have composure clothes? That's a good question. I do. This stylish jacket. Anything else give me composure? That lowers my composure. That also lowered my composure. The other one that said it. Oh, these raised my composure. That might be it. I think I have two. Yep, that is it. I'm just going to click on it. Is the poor man's sniper rifle not the most reliable of firearms? It's relatively precise due to a very manageable recoil, thus allowing the shooter to take multiple consecutive shots fast. This particular piece is missing a scope, though. Hey.
Minions of capital. What do you want?
I'm going to assess his body language. What strikes you most about this gaunt man is not the stomach pain or the cough or the malnutrition. For a man who spent 44 years hiding in the urban wild, he is surprisingly okay. Indeed, he speaks fluidly. His movements are rapid, if erratic. His voice, despite the cough, is there. It is capable of expressing complicated ideas. Above all, he seems animated. Animated by what? It's a mystery. The animation comes at a cost too. Erratic hand gestures, thought processes cut off like threads as he just stares at the logs or the reeds. He also suffers mood swings, bubbling to the surface, unconstrained by his nervous system. Great leaps of emotion, from anger to grief, despair. Dementia? You've seen demented people before. This feels similar, yet different. When his thoughts move, they are lucid, keen even, not senile. Wouldn't a foul temper be a byproduct of his life? Perhaps, but his seems more than that. The inner turmoil takes unexpected turns, as if forced on him in a way. In summary, you sense some underlying neurological disorder. Mr. Dross, are you okay? How is your memory? He waves his hand, chasing something that's not there. No, I'm not okay. I shit blood and am surrounded by insane people. There it is again, erratic hand movements, bouts of rage, and the stomach thing too, of course. Right, let's leave that there. I'm just going to put on my other outfit again, because I want to. Because it's slightly nicer. And then we're going to speak to him again.
Minions of capital. What do you want?
Well, it's the all-important question. What have you been using this gun for? I've used it for killing people. Killing people? It's a gun, that's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property? I haven't done that. I've used it to kill people. Interesting, Lieutenant nods. During or after the war? There is no after the war. He shakes his head and smiles, his teeth rotten black. Class war is never over. So he's continued killing after hostilities ended. Okay, okay. This is it, you can feel it. Like battery acid on the tip of your tongue, something you haven't felt for a while, but what? This is what you live for, this is the shit. The great serotonin jackpot. The solution. Go in straight, no euphemisms, he doesn't like those. No, be careful now, slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first. Don't mess this up, remember, he wants to tell you, get personal. Well, go, which one are we going for? I think rhetoric fits it. So you're saying you kill people after active fighting stopped? What did I just say? He keeps shaking his head erratically. Suddenly, he brushes something out of his eye. What did I just tell you? Don't drop the ball now. Okay. Did you use the gun to shoot and kill a colonel of the security contractor Krenel? The who now? He leans in and cups his ear. He heard you. He just wants you to say it again. This is dramatic flair on his part. The right choice. We're in. Do it, sire. Let's see. The corpse in ceramic armor hanging behind the whirling in rags. Did you shoot him? Oh yes, that one. He looks up at the sky, clacks his tongue. Ugly piece of work, that boy. Did you kill him? The lieutenant takes a sudden step towards him. I am a son of a welder, an officer of the commune of Revachol. He spits a big one at the lieutenant's feet. I do not collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime. A drop of blood in the saliva. Exhaust him with proof. Pile it all on him. Get a confession. The gun, the murder weapon, is the perfect opener. Something about the tracks? Suddenly all those tracks are so confusing. Go for something else first. We've done the ballistics. The shot came from this island. I saw you poking around there looking for evidence. You're damn diligent when it comes to dead fascists. A jitter passes him. Did you like the view? You had direct visibility. There are embrasures in the concrete specifically meant for a top follower to use, and you had a long-range rifle in your possession. Lieutenant softens his voice. You've been here a long time, Mr. Dross. Too long. You clearly need medical aid. I'm ready to die. The man interrupts him, then coughs. I've done my part. He's practically admitted to it. Dead. Fasces, or for fascist, done his part. Just one thing remains unclear. The rifle does not have a scope. Well, one thing. Where's the scope? How did you make the shot without a scope? We have everything else. Forget about your stupid fucking scope. I don't know where it is. Find it yourself. It's your problem now. He lost it. Just doesn't know where it is. Forget it. Push on. Is the best uninterrupted line of sight into that window in all of Martinez. Actually, you know what? The view is perfect. With a pair of binoculars, I could have seen in the room. Because it's a sniper's nest, you stupid fuck. Radio Gosh is right. You have worms in your brain. Another sudden twitch, then one more in his right eye. Almost. He almost burst out there. Keep piling arguments, anything. I don't need your cooperation. I've got this. Showing him the gun. Yeah. Not a lot of guns around here use military grade ammunition, are there? It's a real gun. He points at Lieutenant's sidearm, not like your musketeer pistols. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons, ye chortles? Going against automatic rifles with its toy guns. Of course you got those boys killed. Damn, he saw you. He's watched it happen. He would have a good view of the tribunal from here. It's not just empty boasting. So he saw you. Okay, so what? Don't let it divert you. Stop changing the subject. We have the murder weapon. Oh, you know what? Lieutenant looks at the weapon demonstratively. Oh, you're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it? You think we have the murder weapon? 446 jacketed ammunition, modified for range. He lists, we have it. This is it. I'm calling it. We have the murder weapon. Good. Lieutenant takes out his notebook and draws a single line. This feels good, doesn't it? Tying things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer. Murder. The old man does not say more, but just glances into the reeds and then twitches once more. This pushed him, but not enough. Just a little more. Come on, what am I forgetting? I'm going to hit myself in the side of the head. Wait, don't forget the footprints. They're diagonal prints in the dust in the secret space behind Plachet's bedroom. Now they're going to come up. Of course. Thank you, Head. Thank you. You got it. Remember, the boot prints were like no modern soul. I'm wondering what brand of boots you're wearing. Everything is brands with you individualist. Who cares what my brand of shoes are? Sounds He looks at his running shoes covered in mud. Some shit. Show me the soles, please, Mr. Dross. Fucking imbecile. The old man stretches out his leg. A black and white spiral pattern covers the sole of the worn out old running shoes on his feet. The maker of it is called Sansarik, and the size is 42 to 44. These are not the unusual horizontal pattern shoes you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same size. The size fits, but not the sole. Lieutenant comes to the same conclusion. But maybe it's simpler than that. Sire, he doesn't have to be wearing them right now. People change shoes, it doesn't mean you weren't there. Near the room the victim died in, sneaking around. Racking those brains, aren't you? He squints at you, black pearls gleaming with hatred. Desperate to report something back to your masters. They must really have loved that dead fuck. Lieutenant gives you a sideways glance and nods to acknowledge. The prints were his, you can see it in those eyes. He can't keep them from flickering, looking for something. The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire, silent suddenly, some strange process within him, a gush of wind, seagulls in the distance. He suddenly jerks to life. You know who he was, a coalition-trained murderer, armoured and armed. He wasn't human, the blunt end of a hammer dripping with blood. He was a killer, but he was still under the protection of the law. Beating us to the ground, moaning with joy, he breathes in with strange animation. You hounds get so thorough when the company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. He looks you dead in the eyes, pupils shaking. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you'll come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds. He breathes through flared nostrils. This is it. Shot him, shot him. Say shot him, not killed him. So you shot him? Oh, the inhumanity. He closes his black eyes. One paramilitary lesson, Revachol. You can almost see him squeeze a tear out of his eye. His fists begin to tremble from the anger. Lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you. Hush. He does not need to be pushed anymore. The ball is rolling. While Lieutenant listens, holding his breath. I'm going to hold my breath. I had them there in my sight, both of them, him and the whore. I was breathing with them in phase, and I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth. He begins to smile. I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death, that stupid look on his face. The smile quivers, and his dick still in her. Then what? Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were many bells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here. I guess that was May bells. Probably a flower. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own. And so they did. Lieutenant just looks at him for maybe 2 seconds, and breaks the silence. Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder? Yes. A single word is all he gives. Lieutenant takes out his notebook slowly, very slowly. And you are looking at them, the victim and a young woman having sex, through the scope of your rifle that night before you shot him. The old man nods. Why? Because that's what they were doing. He shrugs, then smacks his lips. The motive. This is where the motive is going to come from. You can coax it out from the lieutenant's preparing the ground. I don't understand. He turns to you. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part. Why were you looking at them that night? I'm always looking. He cocks his head to the side, then turns his eyes to the city. Another tremor passes the left side, lower in intensity. Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? He explains. I'm just trying to understand. A rifle's scope has the best magnification. And if you don't like it... Click. You pull the trigger? Yes. He looks you in the eye. Think of it as a form of critique. You got him going, connect every little piece, now wrap things up like a gift. Start with when you first saw them. It will give him a chance to ramble. When did you first see the deceased? 3 weeks ago when the rich hag came on our Cali. Her honor guard came in tow. Joyce, he means Joyce. By that you mean Joyce Messier, the Wild Pines rep. Wrinkled up whore, he nods. What is it for these whores and pederasts? Aren't you a communist? Lack sexual morals are a bourgeoisie ploy. He gargles up a spitball. As to pederasty, the party legalized it in 04. My party, not your liberal masters. He spits it out on the dying coals. So you sermonize me, you racist shithole, he adds. It's still bourgeoisie when bourgeoisie does it, fiddling with their sexual organs. The lieutenant coughs. Moving on, the victim arrives sometime after her. He nods to the city. They moved into a deserted apartment above the roundabout, radio equipment out for all to see, reactionary radio playing, sloppy and drunk. I've seen their kind during the landing, those Occidental and Mesk phalanges weren't conscript boys like us. They were right whites. All they know is to destroy and hurt. Whites? Barely alive, they like to kill when they're on their drugs. After the landing in the burning years, I would take shots at them. End them, the worst ones, if I had a bullet to spare. I could see they've returned now to show their real face, the face they don't dare show the bourgeoisie voters back on Monday, with their families and polyester clothes. What specifically did you not like when you about what you saw the night of the murder? Them fucking. He looks at the charred wood. I didn't like that. Oh, so you were jealous? Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I just didn't like the reaver enjoying himself, drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore. And I wanted her to see his head explode. He nods, that too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second, writhing. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. He squints. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her, but... He shrugs. You can't have everything. This man has seen past her like you did, and now he longs to see her covered in blood. You had feelings for that woman. There's, besides, nothing to hold on to, only this, it's not enough. The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly like stones dripping with water. Is he crying? Man needs to feel something else in the fight. It helps if you have your eye on something there. He looks to the city. It's weakness, I know. There have been others? Yes, over the years. It's not unproletarian to feel something. One more thing about this woman. Woman, he smiles suddenly. And inexplicably, it doesn't go for his pained voice. How long had you been watching her? Since she came to Martinez, I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Feld building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have her skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night moving. Past the Feld building on the coast, what was she doing there? hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her smoking. She was nervous, but not scared. What do you think she hid there? Our passport and tickets to Villars. He coughs. And from there to Casher and Broom. In the free state of Semenine, hidden away at the edge of the earth near the Pale. This is the hidden boy she told us about. You looked into it? He nods. After she was gone. Did you keep what was in it? Did you keep what was in it? When we found the submersible, it was empty. No, why would I do that? I didn't need tickets to Villars, I put them back. If I wanted to extort someone, I'd do it better. This implies that he's thought about extorting her. Are you sure? We checked the submersible. There was nothing there. He looks to the reeds confused. Why would I need that trash? I'm not going to Villars. A strange confusion comes over him from time to time. Some kind of aberration of the nervous system? Moving on, did you continue watching her after this? I did. He almost smiles. She had a face like an archipelago, with those birthmarks and a body hard and lean, unbruised all over, black and yellow. I could see taking a beating. I could see who she was too. He nods, a spook on the run. Revishal's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals. You could tell she was a spook from the documents. She had a different color hair on the photo and glasses forged. Some sordid bourgeoisie affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio. He's setting it up for you. The bruises. You can't make that out on the scope. And you could see her bruises through the scope of a rifle? You can't see bruises. You can't see bruises through a scope. It's just a blur. He shakes his silver-greyed hair. How does he know those minute details about her body? 97. Footprints, could have changed shoes, found the peephole. It quickly comes to you. The bruises on her body. Any chance you could have seen them through a hole in the wall? Oh yes, he smacks his lips, cutting those drugs of hers into little lines with a knife, masturbating. Did you make that hole? With a lip-point knife. Good for listening in too, for hearing the moaning and the snorts. You ever see her through a window on a roof? Like that, yes too. He nods, bending like a bow against the glass. You've been through the secret route behind the whirling and rags. Those were your footprints there. You just changed your shoes. I've been through all of Martinez, every nook and cranny. And that too. Yes, that too. He shakes his head, almost in awe. The things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good. He explains, funny the way light works. You turn it on inside and it gets so dark out you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but he keeps shaking his head. Those two took the cake. You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen, a quick glance at you. One more loose end down. We're doing this, detective. Then at the man. How did you get in there, the hidden pinball workshop? I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you they think I'm antisocial. Closing hour is a good time, the kitchen's empty. You had to open the steel door in the kitchen? How? I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeoisie game merchant lived there, I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on in the one night on my scope. He points towards the whirling in rags. And he found a use for it, a spare key, like the one hanging behind the Union box window. So in conclusion, it wasn't about him, it was about her. Her. He repeats, staring into the ashes in the reeds. There's a twitch in the corner of his eye. Lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement. That's it, motive, we have it. The old man looks at you, suddenly remembering something. Where is she? I haven't seen her there for days. We arrested her. Actually, you know what? I'm not at liberty to say. I know she's gone. He looks up at the city, locked up or on the run. She kept staring into the scope, you know. In the end, this last week at the fort, like she knew. Like she knew I was here, he adds, to no one in particular. It doesn't matter. I crossed the water on a dilapidated jetty in a nameless village made of grey cinder block houses with turnout roofs. 2 police officers and 1 special consultant look across a narrow strip of sea. He's there doing, what exactly I don't know. Satellite Officer Vic Wimire points at the ruins. Behind that anti-aircraft something, that's why we can't see him. Special Consultant Hiddlestam is optimistic. We'll see the boat when he comes. Let's go get a coffee until then. I know this interesting little place where... His voice trails off as the 3 walk down the jetty. As the men go, Patrol Officer Minois looks back over her shoulder at the crumbling fortification in the snowfall, like a rotten tooth rising out of the water. Good luck, Harry, she thinks. You need something good for this. Oh, we could get more. The lieutenant uses the opportunity to tell you in a lowered voice. We've got him talking. Who knows what he's seen and done over the years? You get more out of him, he likes talking. Enough, take him in, bend his arms behind his back and end this. Been looking at anything else you haven't liked? A tragic comedy. He shakes to life. Druggies, prostitutes and rentiers. A strange little engine seems to fire up in him again. It straightens his back. The familiar put of hatred. Or put of hatred. More specifically? Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house, stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinez, he shakes his head in grave disgust. Martinez is the worst. How come? Because of the racists. Everyone is racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world. Listening to race-themed radio shows in the ruins in their lorries. He points inland. Pump full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by the Social Democratic Union and the farce of a social democrat who runs it. Mr. Clare? Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III, a syphilitic murderer on a town square to spit on the working class. Anything more? Not since the serfs of ancient Paracanassus has history produced more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. These people still live in ruins. Intense like animals. He points to the church. Like these boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs. He keeps shaking his head with sorrow for the sight he missed. That all? The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucreant on her yachts, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now, her gun-toting porcelain men are dead, so actually no. The worst is that old cock parading around in his uniform, throwing bowls all day. Not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our grave. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins too. Every morning he's there when the parasites he fought to protect are often ozone or the Croyant Moraine or some other island they built their palaces on, feeding on drugs, having sex with their own children. That's all the rich really want, sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sorted sex. At least that old cunt Frizzle is dead now. Okay, I'm gonna nod. We did good when we pushed him under that horse car. If only in the 30s, those disco horrors. What follows is ominous mumbling. You cannot make out a single word. The disco horrors are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center, leaving only a nonsensical sputter. There was something about a statue, nihilistic advertising, agency people, might be worth investigating. Disco horrors? Horrors is all he says. Even that word has to be pushed through his teeth with great force. The rage seethes too hard. You mentioned the Union is social democratic, and Mr. Clare is a farce of a social democrat? Another hideous disappointment. He pokes at the ash. Unions are the real enemy, the true enemy of the proletariat, placating the masses. Disappointment, so personal, he displays a familiarity with the Union's top brass. Who's a disappointment? Everard Clare? That deformed toad, I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass. I mean the brains of the operation, the smart one. Edgar? You mean Edgar, Everard's brother? The old man chortles with a nod. He talks big game about uprising and social base. They must have sent the smart one to some university in La Jardine, where its alienation isn't hegemony that. He's been sweet-talked by this Edgar. They must have met in person for such animosity to have developed. We're not the first people you've met from the city, are we? You can't just live alone. He stopped poking at the ash now, just shakes his head. The Tlayers wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard, not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing. Of course, maybe the Tlayers asked him to. Don't go straight for the kill, exhaust everything first, soften them up. Have you approached them? I haven't approached anyone, I've hid. It was Edgar who came to me. How did he know you were here? He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He nods to you. He figured it out. Some kids told him about the monster on the island. I told you he has brains. He points to the path leading to the tower. Stepped right off the boat and walked down to where you came. He even kept the door open for him. Thought he was a man of the left, wouldn't rat me out. He shrugs. I was right about one of those things. When was this? 20 years ago. Neither of them could walk now, could they? They were less fat then. That's around the time the Tlayers came to power. What did you talk about? Edgar did the talking, paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform, offered platitudes about the struggle, flaunted his pink degree, even quoted Mazov. Never trust a social democrat who quotes Mazov. He suddenly remembers. Oh, and charity too. They love their charity, offered me blankets and social housing, until the guest cookery brought. And he let you be here. Let me be here. Look around. He looks around. The Tsar is an unlawful successor of the Commune de Revachol. We took this fortification from the loyalists. Even the Tlayers understand this. They let him be here. Understanding was a courtesy. But why such a courtesy? Mr. Dross, did you kill the Krenel mercenary for the Tlayers to incite a riot? You know why I killed that fucker Drott. He shakes his head. As to Edgar, I'm not doing anything for that swine again. Again, what have you done for Edgar before? Tried teaching him some Razovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick, we parted ways. He coughs. Okay, he didn't do the hanged man for him, but he's insinuating something. Alright, logic. We talked to Everard about the previous forewoman. The connection comes to you like a splash of cold water, dark cold water. 20 years ago when you met Edgar, the Tlayers didn't run the Union yet, did they? Heh, a sputter from the old man. He acknowledges it. Here we go, a twist behind the dark bend. Who did? That bourgeoisie cow, Tiffaine Holly was her name. He narrows his eyes. Licked the rich man's hand every time he came to town. Never seen a labor leader so hot on mutual cooperation. And money, she liked that too. That Holly was a real bridge builder, a deal maker. His eyes suddenly glistened suddenly with hatred. She was also a woman, wasn't she? Like that Claget. She was, and she was real soft on those money men. Had a Barbara Moskova bag over her shoulder like that she liked to bring to work. And then she just disappeared. Called in, they say, on the eve of battle, ran away, vanished like a piss stain. He squints and smiles at the black logs. No, it's not quite it, is it? Did she? The lieutenant's voice is calm. They say her daughter called in, not her personally. But that wasn't her daughter, was it? No, I guess it was not. You could swear you see the embers glow again under his eyes on the dust. Mr. Edgar had someone make the call. Why is that, Mr. Dross? She couldn't make the call herself. Here it is, the bend in the river. Why? Because she was dead. Just say nothing. The cow caught a bullet in her right lung, fell into the canal grasping her teeth and drowned, or bled. Hard to say, it was a sloppy job and a moving target. She was going home, waddling, dressed in yellow, drunk like she often was. The ruins were black around her and she had a yellow leather bag under her arm. She tried to cross the canal, heading home to the Grand Couronne or Betancourt, some place like that, where they build those new bâtiments for the people who flourish in the hell around her and the ruins. You shot her? Someone shot her. He shrugs. His eyes grow cold suddenly. Or maybe the cow just fell. My memory is full of holes. All I know is nothing changed. Not in the material base, not in the hegemony. There was no uprising, just words. The Union fizzled, sogged. Nothing came of it, nothing. Edgar didn't keep his part of the deal. Yeah, the sputter again, nothing more. If you were to testify to this, give the RCM something on Edgar, you could Walk, Lieutenant says in a voice even calmer, as if it were nothing at all. We would strike everything you've done and process you as a POW. You were in a war, you were on assignment. We could even extradite you to the Samaran People's Republic. A degenerate worker state. Good shit, no thank you, I'm Revisholian. He spits. My days are short, I will rot away here in a Merlin-turned cell. I will not testify anything. He coughs. But you did do it. I saw it happen and I liked it, that's all I have to say. I didn't live and fought for 30 years to end up as a collaborationist. I've heard it on Channel 8, 40 AM, Radio Revishol late night. Everyone is a blubber in this world. Everyone betrays everyone. They're all already locked up for betrayal. The best ones, the one with heart, were slaughtered, trampled. He looks to the city. The same old freezing hatred. There is plenty here to work with once he's in custody. Lieutenant knows it. He gives you a little nod to proceed. By the cock parading his colourful uniform, you mean René? Every fucking morning for 34 years, he grinds his teeth in rage, throwing that ball one wall against another. I always loved that game. Not a working class game. I don't care what they say on Radio June. Royalist ghouls play it like it was life itself. Click-clack. He makes the sound of the balls connecting across the water each day, and that uniform like a parrot's plumage. I won't even mention that he's a traitor to his race. A pétanque maniac race traitor. I'm just gonna nod. I remember him. He points to his black eye. I remember him from La Noce. Not him personally, his make and model. There were tens of thousands of them. I thought we took them all out before the liberals came to their rescue. We missed one. He shakes with a shaky finger he points to the city towards the crater near the plaza where a lonely pine tree stands. That one. Doesn't seem to be a single person under the pine today, not even Gaston alone. There's no one there. Fat and plump, just like a pheasant. He does not hear you, just begging to be popped. A grin scratches across his face. He says very softly, "Please, Mr. Dross, shoot me. You'd like to kill him?" The smile lingers. Not yet. I like to look at him strut around, place the crosshair on his medals right on his face and just fiddle the trigger. Think about it, let the bonbon melt in my mouth. Save the treat for later, Lieutenant asks cheerfully. He is a juicy bonbon, that one, a real treat. For the black day, the blackest, when I put the gun in my own mouth, I think. No, don't waste it. Put this lead in that cock, René, for the boys he killed. Then I look at him through those bows and I suddenly feel. He lets out a wistful sigh. Better. I even hid one bullet so I'd always have one for him. The lines in his face straighten as he looks inland. I haven't seen him around lately, strutting around. Must be down with arthritis. I hope it hurts like hell. I hope he sweats blood. Hearing it may destabilize him. You sure you've gotten everything from him? Anyway, tell me something else, Mr. Ross. Yes, of course. He mutters to himself. Must be passing a kidney stone. I hope it's excruciating. At least it keeps him from throwing his balls. He seems relieved. Could he have been worried for him? He reminds him of himself. The same hatred, the same... You try to think of another thing, but no, it's just hatred. They are veterans of the same war. Somewhere west in Coal City, his enemy is lying in a dark room on a metal slider. And La Ossière Municipal, like he will soon. He will too, soon. Half of the war between these men is over. With an agitated gait, Satellite Officer Jean-Heron Vicquamart paces the jetty 22 kilometers east of Martinez. What could he possibly have to do there for so long? He says. Police work, Patrol Officer Judith Minois replies with a tinge of hope in her voice, a tinge of warmth too, against the cold air rising from the water. He's drunk, she thinks. We all know it. Still, she's just trying to see it in a generous light. There was something about the statue on the roundabout and syphilis. Syphilis is a disease Philippe II contracted in a whorehouse. He fires quickly. The statue is an abomination. Abomination? The bacteria entered his brain and made him squander trillions on sparkling wine. cocaneum and monuments of himself, his son Philippe III, the insane contracted syphilis in the womb. He breathes in with a wheeze of hatred. This is not technically possible, though Philippe III was not actually syphilitic. He was just mad. And he still went on to govern Revachol for 25 years. We lost 2 million lives toppling that mode of government, and there's grotesque statues too, hundreds of them. But it's still there. What a keen remark, he sputters. Yes, it is, isn't it? It's still there. Do you know why? Well, I'm going to be ironic. Because the king is holy and his statues are indestructible? No, cynical design cockroaches like you erected a new, ironic version of it. We tore it down with honest working-class plastic explosives, but there is again grinning. He shakes his head in disgust. Art is a bourgeoisie establishment. It's an affront to humanity. Every gallery should be bulldozed, and the artists should all be given 30 years of hard labor in Yakokata. Wait, the bullet hole in Philippe's heart. The statue had been shot. It was him. It had to be. He's already proven capable of taking far more complicated shot from here. It was you. You shot the statue. There was a bullet hole in his heart. I did. He nods. A needless sentimental gesture. I should have spared the bullet for a deformed monster of liberal capitalism. Shameful, really. Yes, shameful. The lieutenant takes a quick note. So many others to punish over the years. Isn't that right, detective? He turns to you. That's it for the statue, then. Tell me, Mr. Dross. The fat union men let them put it there, corrupt as he is. Probably got a fat check for it, too. Shared with the law. I'm not going to tell him about Rennie. I'm going to be kind. I'm glad we talked about this now. Glad it's all gone. He stares into the dust at his feet. Grey and dirty spring grass all around. Iosif Ilanovich Dross, you're under arrest for the murder of Ellis Courtaner. What? The old man's eyes fill with sudden, unexpected terror at the words. But you said I would be taken to the... The terror is the sum of all the uncontrollable movements and mood swings he's been exhibiting. Your wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers at the scene will be used against you in the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week, and you must face court in 44 days. Do you understand? Do you understand? But... Kim, he's afraid. No, I don't want to. I have to stay here. He looks at the reeds, eyes submerged in growing terror. He's sweating. Beads are forming on his forehead. Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now onto the boat. Wait. There it is again, to your north. It's been with you since you came to the coast. The reeds whisper, stalks rubbing against each other, and then, in the middle of it, what? Something completely different. It sounds like a bow, very slowly being drawn against the strings of a violin, a very small violin made of reeds and rushes. And then it's gone, drowned out by the lieutenant's voice. Maybe there is room for 3 on the boat. Shoo, Kim, do you hear that? What? What are you talking about? Is this, the old man voice drowns in sudden gust of wind, really us? Your skin crawls. Alright, we're about to get something extremely weird. I'm ready for it. Or is it the sound of a bow? Oh my god, the reed monster is real. What the hell? What? No. The Insulindian Phasmid. A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfold from the reeds, limb by limb, to then just stand there, moving its scythe-like arms in ghostly silence. I'm gonna blink. It's still there, an unfolding mechanism, a reed-like chitin, hovering in place. What is that? The old man looks at the reeds, then at you. What are you talking about? The giant stick insect! He looks confused. There's nothing there. The stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head. You feel your legs shaking under you. Your gun hand move to your holster, but you don't have a gun. Is there? There is. I see it. Tell me what you see, damn it. I can't make out one small thing in the reeds. Kim, can you see it? I can see it. 4 simple words. Thank God, if he can see it, then you're not insane. But that means it's really there, spinning slowly, in absolute silence, its limbs long and slender. Be very, very careful, Lieutenant whispers, then takes a step towards the giant anthropod. What the? No. No way. It is real? I have to. I can't stop now. The creature stands on long, stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from its head like a woman's hair, white and curled at the tips. Is no more than 5 steps away from you. The segmented antennae move with apprehension, searching for something that's not there. Reed-like tufts stick out of its joints. As the insect moves its forearms, it produces a faint hiss, like a reel-to-reel machine spinning after the tape breaks. The hiss is different from the strings you heard before. It says something else in a lower pitch. Electrochemistry, 97%. We have Lena's childhood experience. Our corpse will be marked with stars. Laid the pheromone on thick. Let's go. Slowly, with your breath held, you take 2 steps towards the phasmid. The creature lets out a series of ultrasonic clicks that swarm around your head like swallows. Like laughter, a sort of happiness. The tracheal system on the creature's abdomen expands in front of you to take in and expel air. It's smelling you. Hissing and clicking, extends its mandible-like antennae to greet you. You're right below it now, looking up at the colossal chitin of its white limbs. The head of the creature is crowned by reeds. Its eyes are like small droplets of water. Hello, I'm Harry. I don't really know who I am. No reply. A total ancient silence comes from its mouth, along with what appears to be some kind of foam. The stridulations of its limbs continue all around you. I'm going to stand on my tiptoes and look more closely. You were right, little bubbles form on the mouthparts of the creature. On its segmented lower lip, it looks to be foaming slowly. The foam is white, then yellowish. The faintest smell like you've never felt before, like burnt roses. Kim, it's foaming. Careful, it may be poisonous. The lieutenant watches you apprehensively. The foam slowly turns a darker shade, like a burnt caramel, as the insect moves its mouthparts, masticating. The little bubbles begin to burst one by one, letting out the same smell like summer burning. Apricot blossoms, white blossoms erupting, and sensation like cold hands on your face. Because we spoke to the hanged man, did not give up on the phasmid, and we know of parthenogenesis. Tell me, what are you doing? I exist. I exist too. Tell me what it's like for you. If I tell you what will happen, then I will tell you what it's like for me. I'm ill. What is your illness? In my heart, for me it's sadness, input after input. For me it is not like that. I have states, not emotions. For example, I experience excitement at unexpected sugar rewards, but that is not important. Now I will tell you how it is for me. For me it is a series of half-lit images, a kind of darkness being intruded upon, transient, dim, moist. Intruded upon by what? Shapes of plants and animals, internal sensations, a swarm of sounds, tiny vibrations on the inside of my forearms, all speak of complexities totally beyond my understanding. I am at the end of a narrow funnel, weightless, so light that it only feels like something to be me. In truth, perhaps I'm nothing. I certainly do not have a soul, and if I did, it would never ache. I'm glad to be me, an incredibly sensitive instrument. Few of us can begin to imagine the horror of you. With all of creation reflected in your forebrain, it must be like the highest of hells, a kaleidoscope of fire and writhing glass, eternal damnation. Even when you're sleeping, and when you wake, you carry it around your neck with your eyes open, that cannot help but swallow more behind the mirror. I feel great mute empathy for you. It was very disorientating at first, but I'm keeping my shit together. That must be incredibly hard. The anthropods are in silent and meaningless awe of you. Know that we are watching. When you're tired, when the vision spins out of control, the insects will be looking on, rooting for you. And when you fall, we will come to raise you up, bud from you, banner light blossom from you, and carry you apart like in a sky funeral in honor of your passing. But not me, because I am just a leaf eater. I'm a detective. So am I. I was born to detect sucrose rewards and semiochemicals. What were you born to detect? The killer. He is in a bad state, deteriorating fast now. He thinks I am beneficial to him, but I am not. I only quicken his deterioration. You're destroying him? Very slowly, and only because he won't go away. It is meant to keep them from noticing me, to interfere with the pictures in their heads, but he has looked at me too long, and I'm destroying him. Is this a dream? What is happening? No, you're awake. I'm real. Light is forming me. This is real. Where does this come from? All this around us, the world. Not even the birds know that. Not even the water lilies. Then all we can do is beat our fists against it day after day with no answer? You can also eat it. If it's a leaf, you can put it in your mouth. Yum yum. Or a reed. Wait, so... you look like a reed and you eat reeds? Yes, they don't mind. Have you accidentally eaten another reed phasmid? Yes, I once cloned myself and ate the little ones. It was winter and I woke up at the wrong time. It was an accident. What exactly are you? I am an unknown species of the order Phantasmodia, endemic to the Insulindian Asola. For 350 years I've hidden in plain sight, masquerading as the reeds, moulding, cloning myself, unfolding at night to play with the trash bins and boys. I went unnoticed by the first settlers and land surveyors of the suzerain, also by the soldiers of the revolution and the officials of the occupation. Even the Seminese islanders who came here first, but did not stay, have not seen me. I've stayed hidden through 4 forms of government and 2 scientific revolutions, until I was accidentally discovered by a detective of the Citizens Militia in Revachol, district of Martinez, March 51. That's insane. No, you are. The moral of our encounter is I am a relatively median life form, while it is you who is total extreme madness, a volatile simian nervous system ominously new to the planet. The Pale too came with you. No one remembers it before. The Cinderans do not. The radially symmetrics do not. There was almost unanimous agreement between the birds and the plant that you are going to destroy us all. Wait, what is the Pale? It is a nervous shadow cast into the world by you, eating away at reality, a great unnatural territory. Its advent coincides with the arrival of the human mind. I don't have that kind of power. You are a violent and irrepressible miracle, the vacuum of cosmos and the stars burning in. You are afraid of you. Given enough time, you would wipe us all out and replace us with nothing, just by accident. How? We suspect it'll be something like the oxygen holocaust that wiped out all anaerobic life 2.6 billion years ago when the organism first started breathing, only much worse. Instead of air, you exhale thoughts, and there are no trees that eat thoughts. I don't want to know. Also very, very dangerous. Kim, am I having a violent epileptic seizure? It doesn't look like that, no. What does it look like? You're just staring at it, he says. I think I'm having a vision about the final fate of mankind. Okay. After a second, Lieutenant asks, is this somehow related to the case? The case? The case is meaningless compared to this. I have totally transcended the case. I think we should take a picture and then you should back away from the unstudied species. That's all I have to say now. I have to say goodbye now. I have no more thoughts. That was all. No, there is one more. Of all the creatures I have met, you are the most beautiful. Thank you. I also have one more thing to say to you. That woman, turn from the ruin. Turn and go forward. Do it for the working class. What woman? You cannot lie to me. Behind you it smells of fire, so awfully far you were prepared to go in her presence. End it. I can't. She was middle class. It doesn't take a 3-meter stick insect to tell you that. It's smelling me. Maybe it is real. The pheromone. Lieutenant's mouth is agape. The insect's head is crowned with reed-like scales, the shape of seed heads. They rustle as the air moves. The ventricles at its abdomen continue expanding like lunglets. Breathing you in, your sour, greasy semiochemicals in the breeze. Raising my hand slowly. The insect stops its stridulation, seeming to observe you. Below its crown of reeds, little pinpricked eyes detect motion glittering. The world stands still around you. Suddenly, there is silence. I'm gonna raise my other hand too. As you do, the invertebrate comes to life, its limbs moving independently of each other, as if each has a mind of its own. There are white, light stalks of porcelain knitting above you, praying to you. Don't pray to me, I'm nothing. The reed creature does not stop its stridulations. It towers above you, parting the reeds it emerged from. Tuft-like structures still rustle on its joints. Okay, Kim, take the picture. Okay. The slow ring of metal, Lieutenant slides the lens open and raises it to eye level. There is no change in the insect's motion while it's being aimed at by the camera. It remains fixated on you. Elm 3, the man whispers, his voice is tense. If it moves, you jump back, I'll shoot. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. The shrill flash of the camera cuts the air like the blades of a sword. Head turned towards Lieutenant, hypnotized by the flash, it stands frozen before you. I got it, you hear the Lieutenant whisper. As the creature's shape develops on a photo paper in his hand, the polychrome ghost of white streaks against the reeds in the sky and you as a shadow before it. And we carefully pet its scythe-like forearm. The limb before you is incredibly light, like eggshell. It's much lighter than a reed. You feel a soft push could tip the creature over, its hollow exoskeleton collapsing. Warning. Pulling my hand away. A sudden shiver passes the limb. Looks like the creature is awakening wave by wave from its stupor. Some sort of countdown process is happening. That's all you have time to think. We got it. I'm going to back off. Another shudder pulses through the creature's limb. It jolts back to life, like a record continuing where it left off in a swaying, praying motion. Even the small black pearls of its eyes do not stray from you. Let's disengage slowly. As you're turning away, the phasmid mirrors your movement, stepping on the water. The long limbs carry its feather weight without breaking its surface. And just like that, it's gone. Skating away across the sea's calm mirror like a skipping stone, leaving nothing but circles on the water. And something under it, in the place it stood, bobbing there among the reeds, a collection of items. It's gone. Lieutenant looks north, its hand raised to his brow. It can walk on water? Apparently, yes. Like a water strider only. He shakes his head with amazement. I've never seen anything like that in my life. What's that in the reeds? He squints. It looks like a nest of some sort. We should have a look. What now? What now? The old man behind you suddenly repeats. He's put his hand into the ash. It's dirty and black. In some kind of strange, semi-catatonic state. Our suspect is not looking good. We need to check on him. Alright, well. I know we're really close to the end, but my voice is starting to give out on me, so we have to end it there. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.